Hello, 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 hello out there. It's everybody's favorite conservative in New York, Christopher Wright. I'm here with Anthony Pappas, as you know, running for the 14th Congressional District of House of Representatives for the Republican Party. And, you know, usually it's a little stray from what I usually do with my walk and talks, as you guys all know. This is more of one of my interviews where I sit down and just kind of, you know, give the candidate's point of view. Because as we all know, we're hearing all about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and what she's all about and what she's running on. But we need to give the voice to the candidate, to the opposition. And, you know, as me being a conservative, I want to give a voice to the conservative party over here in New York. So here's my sit-down interview. Hope everybody enjoys. And again, if you enjoy the content, like and subscribe. There's more to come. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anthony Pappas. I'm the Republican candidate for Congress in New York's 14th Congressional District, which covers parts of northern Queens and the eastern Bronx. Please vote for me on November 6th. Thank you.
Mr. Pappas, what platform is your campaign running on and what is your message?
My message is sensible solutions for a kinder, caring world. I feel everyone needs to get a fair shake, and we need to have sensible solutions to achieve that. So I recognize there are problems that have to be dealt with, but they should be handled in a reasonable fashion that help everybody.
In what ways has your educational background given you unique insight or prepared you for your campaign?
My majors in college and graduate school were in economics and finance, so I've studied how economies around the world have worked, how since the Industrial Revolution the standard of living of the population has been able to increase. I've learned which policies have been successful and what approaches have not been successful, so I hope I can apply them in my role as a congressman.
You have noted in previous interviews that every New Yorker must be taxed $10,000 to cover just the city's budget. What applications on spending, if any, do you propose?
Yes, the New York City budget is $89 billion with a B. The population in New York City is 8.5 million. If you do the division, it's $10,000 per person on average, or $40,000 for a family of 4. So if one family is not paying the average amount, some other family has to be taxed more than $40,000 to make it up. These taxes are collected in devious and hidden ways which aren't obvious, so we need to examine the spending programs and try to make them sensible. And if we do a comparison with other cities, whether Philadelphia, St. Louis, or San Diego, the average spending per person is around $3,000, not $10,000. So how do they accomplish basically the same tasks? Education, police and fire protection, picking up the garbage, clearing the streets in the winter when it snows, and how do they do that for $3,000 or so per person, whereas New York does it for $10,000. So it's a serious problem that has to be addressed.
Okay, now my next question for you is, have you filed paperwork to be able to accept campaign donations?
Yes, I registered with the Federal Election Committee, and I set up a campaign account to accept donations, but I hit a roadblock due to court orders from my divorce case. The campaign account has been restrained and frozen, so the donations that have been made, I can't access them and utilize them in my campaign. So it's a peculiar situation, but it shows the dictatorial power that the courts have in terms of doing whatever they want. I'm trying to change that by filing a lawsuit in the United States District Court, but it's still pending, and I'd appreciate any help or assistance in removing the restraint.
Now, moving on to your opponent a little bit, will you have the opportunity to debate her when the time comes, Alexandria Cortez?
Well, I'm always available to debate my opponent. But as I like to say, I can't just say, let's show up at Central Park tomorrow at 3 p.m. and have a debate. The debate has to be hosted by a radio or TV show or some other civic group, so when that is arranged, I'll be available. Actually, I've sent about 4 emails to her campaign email account, but I haven't gotten any response yet. So again, I'm challenging her to a debate, and I hope she accepts and that someone will host it quickly.
Okay, Anthony, worst case scenario, if you're not able to debate Alexandria, how will you reach out to potential voters?
I will endeavor to have interviews with newspapers and magazines or individual shows. I will also conduct a grassroots effort to organize volunteers that will go out and distribute flyers and booklets describing my strategy. I am available to appear before civic groups and answer their questions or explain my platform, and also utilize social media. I have a Facebook page, Anthony Pappas for Congress. I also have a website, www.anthonypappasforcongress.com.
Anthony, have you heard of the whole walkaway movement? And if you have, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, my feeling is that, political parties are not like a religion where everybody has to follow the leader and adhere to an ideological position. The voters or the electorate, they should have choices. So if they feel that there's a candidate that isn't reflecting their views, they can go to another candidate or select another candidate that they feel more closely represents their viewpoint and their interests. So I think our system of just having 2 parties is not a good setup or arrangement. Other nations have a parliamentary system with several parties that form coalitions, and they're not as ideological or divisive as our 2-party system is.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her supporters are considered what you call Democrats socialists. What's your whole thoughts on that?
Well, I think the socialist system is not a good system for an economy. I'm in favor of a free enterprise. Under free enterprise, people have incentives to work harder and to strive to better themselves and their families. And looking at the course of history, the free enterprise system has contributed to the progress that the world has enjoyed. So under socialism, you will still need someone to make decisions on how resources should be allocated or how benefits should be allocated, and it's not a good idea to give that to the government or lackeys in the government that'll make the decisions on behalf of the people. So free enterprise is the preferred alternative.
Alexandria, she stands for free Medicare for everyone as well as free college. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I understand that there are some benefits that should be made accessible to the people, but it has to be done in a sensible way. There are costs to doing all this, and you are restrained, by your available resources. I've already pointed out a typical family in New York is taxed on average $40,000 per year for a family, and I think these solutions should be approached more on a national level rather than on a regional or local level. So if New York is the only place providing benefits, you'll have people migrating to New York from Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and the burden for New York taxpayers will go up as other citizens from other states come to New York to enjoy those benefits. So that's a road to ruin and placing an extreme burden on the current residents of New York City.
Anthony, also, your opponent, she's mentioned she's very pro-immigration. If elected, she plans to abolish ICE. What do you think about those remarks?
Well, I think, again, this is an example of another extremist position which is not in the interests of the citizens of the United States. I believe we should have secure borders and controlled immigration. I like to point out the population of Mexico is 125 million. Colombia has a population of 50 million people. Indonesia, the fourth most populous nation, has 260 million. You could have millions of people flooding across the borders without any controls, and I don't think that's what the people of the United States want. So if we have controlled of the borders, then we can have a sensible immigration policy and set standards for the number of immigrants we want to admit each year in a sensible manner, rather than just open the floodgates to anybody who can, land on the border or arrive at JFK by airplane and say, "Here I am."
How do you feel the importance of the upcoming 2018 midterm election is, and also not just for your district, but the whole entire, New York City and the entire country as well?
This is a very volatile year. I think we will all understand that. It's unfortunate that the country is sort of in this polarized situation where there are two groups, and that politics has become like a team sport. So one team says, well, we're the angels, and the other team then must be the devils. So what we need to do is kill each other. I would try to be more of a unifier, try to compromise across the party aisles, and come out with sensible solutions for a kinder, caring world, rather than have everybody attacking and destroying each other. So the midterms are not proceeding in a sensible manner. They're sort of a divisive, destructive manner, and we'll have to see how they turn out.
Do you think with the whole thing of the walkaway movement and everything here on social media about the Red Wave 2018, that it's possible to turn New York red?
One would have to make an effort to get the Republican viewpoints across to the voters. So we have the statewide candidates, Mark Molinaro, Julie Killian, Keith Wofford, Shelley Farley. They have to get out and give a clear message as to what they will do. And of course, in New York City, which is predominantly Democratic, the Republican candidates have to try to eat into the Democratic plurality or advantage, and that way statewide the Republican Party can achieve some success. And I think it's better to have candidates from both sides emerge in the elections than for New York City, for example, to consider to be an echo chamber where the Democrats have the vast preponderance of the positions and the Republican viewpoints are not heard or heard very slightly.
So there you guys have it, a quick interview with Anthony Pappas, running for New York's 14th Congressional District. It was a pleasure having you here today, as well as Chris and his great questions that he asked. It was amazing, a good time, and I hope wish you the best of luck. And to anybody out there that wants to help out his campaign, you can always find them at www.anthonypappasforcongress.com. And he's looking for volunteers, he's looking for support, people to help him with his difficult court case as well. There's a lot of questions about that, and it's very sketchy, it's very interesting, and anybody out there that can find that legal support, we would appreciate it so much. Anthony would appreciate it so much. Volunteers, thank you, Chris, for asking the questions.
Not a problem. And I just want to thank Anthony Pappas as well for taking the time out of his busy schedule during this holiday weekend to sit down with us All we're trying to do, like we mentioned earlier, is bring that red wave in 2018. WALKAWAY was a big part of that, and I'm just so glad that Anthony came out and was able to bring his message out to the public, because we all know what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's side of things are. We hear it from the mainstream media all the time, but now we get a chance to hear from the opposition, and I'm glad we were one of the first people to be able to bring his voice out to the public.
You're hearing it right here live from the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. We want to make sure that he gets the support that he needs, that everybody gets to hear his message, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hears what he has to say and accepts his challenge to a debate.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure speaking to the viewers about my issues and my campaign. I'm also accessible through social media and Facebook. Anthony Pappas for Congress and the Facebook page. Thank you for the support and interest.
So guys, remember, make sure to like, comment, and share this video to everybody out there that wants to get involved. Anthony Pappas, Congress.
Thank you very much.
Everybody's favorite conservative in New York, out.